Okay, so Jonathan Masters, I'm back. I started to write this essay, and as I start to write the essay, it turns out I really want to write about the subject, so it wound up being 100 pages. So I'm actually, I wrote a book, 100-page, PDF. It's a PDF file now, but it's called Only Barbaric Scumbags Hit Children, Equality in Relationships, by Jonathan Masters, Scripture. I start out with a quote by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. And Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he says that our actions can only be moral if those actions are done freely. In giving up our freedom, we also give up our morality and our humanity. So if we're not actually making the decisions, if we're just doing as we're told, we are not even deciding any type of morals. Morality and obedience are completely opposite. If you're doing something, if you're just doing what somebody tells you to do, you're not considering whether it's right or wrong, you're just doing it because someone else is telling you to do it. Morality is when you weigh the bad with the good and you make your own decision. So in giving up that freedom to decide, we also give up our morality and our humanity, according to Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Ayn Rand quote from the virtue of selfishness. Integrity does not consist of loyalty to one's subjective whims, but of loyalty to rational principles. So, have a rational, principled core, right? So there's a lot of child abuse everywhere in pop culture, in celebrities' lives, in a lot of our Mother Goose tales and Grimm's fairy tales and the Bible. There's a lot of infanticide to wipe out, to kill a bunch of children. Actually, all of Christianity started out with infanticide. King Herod, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, right? King Herod said every kid under 2 and under is to be put to death. So every child every boy, every male that's 2 years old or younger was to be killed because they could have been the Savior. Pulling Marco Rubio, right? Which is stupid. Why not? Let him get a drink of water. Who cares? But King Herod put to death all the boys that are under 2 years old. So there's going to be a Messiah. There's going to be a Savior that's born in Bethlehem. So his solution is just kill all the boys. That'll save anybody from threatening his rule. Just kill all the boys. I'm sure they'll be okay with that. Just murder all the children. Just kill all the kids. And that's the birth of Christianity. Birth of Jesus Christ is born amidst an infanticide. King Herod wiped out all the boys, the baby boys. And there's a lot of artists, the slaughter of the innocents. So there's a lot of artists that depict the Romans going around killing all these poor Jewish boys. That's under King Herod. And then it would be King Herod's son, also King Herod, that would collaborate with Pontius Pilate to put Jesus to death. So unbaptized children are born in sin, and if they die, then they're going to go to hell. Even Dante put unbaptized children into the outer loop of hell. So, how dare you look at me, boy? You keep on looking at me, boy, I'm going to beat the devil out of you, boy. This one's got the devil in them. I'm going to beat the devil out of this one. So the first thing that the Women's Crisis Center had talked about since I was a victim of child abuse, the very first thing that they pointed out was these power wheels. One was the power wheel of equality, and the other one was a power wheel of domination. Well, I guess one's a power wheel, one's an equality wheel. One is, how to control someone else, all the traits of hierarchy and what that looks like, and equality. The equality wheel showed all the traits of it. They're worth looking at. I'm not going to go through them, but you should check them out. So, carrying on. A lot of people like to say that they're my children, they're my kids. How dare you tell me how to raise my children? Well, when you got Adam Lanzas and you got that guy in Paducah, Kentucky, Michael Cardneal, and you got the Columbine kids, and you got actually got school shootings like all the time. There was like 100 school shootings last year. And when your kid starts killing my kids, that's when your kid, that is my problem. That is my business. How you're raising your kid. If you're raising your kid to murder my kid, I care about that. See, the problem is when people who say that that's my kid, well, you don't own your kid. You don't own anybody. You don't own anyone. That's not your property. But more importantly, it's not your property. Even like a puppy. Like your puppy, you buy it, you could, you feed it, you pet it till it dies. A child's not like that. A child is you're raising it to put it out into the world. So it's a catch and release. That's the whole point of raising children, is to raise them up so that they're strong and capable and responsible, and they can take the world on, as best and as strong as they can. That's the point of raising a kid. So I don't know. There's a lot of issues here with child abuse. I mean, fuck child abuse. It's just bullshit. Anybody that has to beat up a kid or beat up a small person is just absolutely ridiculous. Adolf Hitler was beat up. That's not a big surprise. Adolf Hitler was beat up as a child. So was Michael. Michael Jackson was beat up. Marvin Gaye, Macaulay Culkin, Hitler. Hitler wanted to be a priest, which is interesting. And so did Tom Cruise and Conan O'Brien. I think Stephen Colbert actually teaches Catholic education. So they talked about the slaughter of the innocents. Christianity began with the Holocaust, or the slaughter of the innocents, from which Jesus is presumed to have saved. According to Matthew's account of Jesus' birth, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time he had diligently inquired of the wise men. So when Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and younger, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. And the Magi, I think, are from Iran. Those are the wise men that are from Iran. In commemoration of Innocents' Day, of the slaughter of the innocents, Innocents' Day was historically celebrated in most Christian countries by ritually whipping children. So, hey kids, remember when Herod killed all you kids? Well, I'm going to beat the hell out of you, so that way we all remember how Jesus came and saved us from... It makes no sense. You don't honor a day of killing all the children by hitting children. You would honor the children. You would, treat them nice, not shitty. If anything, maybe you'd flip it around. Maybe the kids hit the parents or something. Slaughter of the innocents, Herod the Great. That's also Pharaoh had one of the plagues. Had all the male children was cast out in the river. One of the biggest stories actually about infanticide is the story of Abraham and Isaac. So Abraham and Isaac. This is Genesis 22. So sometime later, God tested Abraham. He was like, Abraham. Abraham's, here I am. God says, take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Then you sacrifice Isaac. You sacrifice him as a burnt offering on a mountain I'll show you. So early the next morning, Abraham got up and he loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. And when he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he sent out for the place God had told him about. And on the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and he saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship and we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering, placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and he said to his father, Abraham, "Father?" "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The wood and fire are here," Isaac said, "but where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" "We're going for a burnt offering. Where's the lamb?" Abraham answered, basically lying. "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the two of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and he laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand, took out the knife to slay his son, and he was about to stab him, and then the angel of the Lord stopped. They called out from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham!" "Just kidding, just a big joke." "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy." The angel of the Lord said, "Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God because you've not withheld me from your son, your only son." And Abraham looked up, and there was a ram that was caught in a thicket. And he went over and he took the ram and he sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So God tells Abraham to kill his son, and he's willing to do it. And then God says, "Just kidding, you don't have to kill him." Psalm 137, verse 9. "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks." You can figure out what that would mean. It's Psalms 137, verse 9. Psalm 137, verse 9. "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. Happy shall he be who taketh and dasheth thy little one against the stones." 2 Kings 2. So 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23. There's this bald man, Elisha. He went up there to Bethel, and as he was going by the way, there's these young lads came out from the city, I think Jericho, and they mocked him. They said, "Go on up, you bald head. Go on, you bald head." And when he looked behind him and he saw them, he cursed them in the name of the Lord. And then 2 female bears came out of the woods, and they tore 42 of the lads, 42 of them into pieces. Tore them up, killed them. 42 boys. So if you're part of a gang of boys and you're insulting a bald man, watch out for some bears, because they're going to kill all you all. They're going to kill you and 40 of your friends. And then Elisha went to Mount Carmel, and he was like, damn, I cursed him in the name of the Lord. And then 2 female bears came out and killed them all. How dare they mock me? So that's more infanticide, right? You have a lot of infanticide throughout the years. King Herod, Isaac, and Abraham. Adolf Hitler, Sirhan, the one who killed Robert Kennedy. He was beat up as a child. Yeah, so the Pharaoh in Egypt, he's talking here about the, one of the plagues. And the king of Egypt said to the Hebrew wives, this is during, no, it's not one of the plagues. They try to kill Moses in the same way. If you see that the baby is a boy, you kill him. But if it's a girl, you let her live. If you're helping the Hebrew women during child, so the king of Egypt is telling them to kill all the babies, all the baby boys. Every Hebrew boy that is born, you must throw into the Nile. That's verse 22. I guess Exodus 1:9. Pharaoh is depicted as ordering the slaying of children, first by ordering the midwives to do it, then upon learning they failed to carry out the orders, ordering that the male children be cast into the river. So again, more infanticide. When Jesus was born, all the male babies are killed. During Moses' birth, all the male babies are being killed. All the babies are, one of the plagues is one of the plagues is also about killing children. Just murdering kids is not about beating them up. It's just about killing them, just taking their life, taking their whole life. out of here. A sociologist, Charles Sumner, actually a very popular sociologist, he thinks that it's innate in men to kill children. It's not their fault. It's just what they are. What their whole point is to fight